enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. Just the 1, 2. I was just counting on that never happened. I guess I'm dreaming again. Let's be more than this.
Hey, what's up everybody? Gilbert Blaze here. So last night we had the WWE Draft. So I wasn't watching it last night because I was actually busy, so I was catching up on it earlier on today. And I gotta say, I'm not extremely surprised by most of the picks that were drafted, because after all, the whole big question for this draft was, what were they gonna do for SmackDown? Now that Edge is gone, Undertaker's not there, Mysterio hasn't really been in the main event, so they needed some really big stars for SmackDown for that main event scene there, because Vince is not completely behind Christian. He never has been, and even though it might seem now that he's getting a title shot, I just don't think Christian's main event spot is going to last a very long time. So, first draft pick of the night was John Cena, and this to me was of course a shock, because you would think, why would they want John Cena on SmackDown when they know SmackDown is the B show? So I thought for a minute, wow, they actually made him go to SmackDown. This could be something cool here, because he's going to the Rock show SmackDown, and now they have their little feud set up for next year's WrestleMania. So we find out later on that night, at the end of the night, that Cena gets drafted back to Raw. So it was like kind of a swerve there in a sense. So it's like they couldn't let John Cena go to SmackDown. They couldn't let their biggest star go to SmackDown. No, they had to tease us and let him go right back to Raw. So, not a shocker there. So, the next pick for Raw was Rey Mysterio, and I gotta say, this doesn't surprise me either, because it seems like with Sin Cara on the scene now, at first I thought, okay, wow, they're gonna put Rey and Sin Cara on the same brand. Good. They're gonna have a match eventually. But then we find out Sin Cara gets drafted to SmackDown, but more on that later. So, back to Rey Mysterio. Mysterio hasn't been doing much as of late. He has his feud with Cody Rhodes, which I actually like. I like his feud with Cody Rhodes, but I guess now that's going to end, because Cody Rhodes for now is on SmackDown still, and Mysterio's on Raw. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Mysterio. I don't see nothing much happening with him on Raw either. So next draft pick is Randy Orton to SmackDown. Now this I wasn't surprised about either, because I had a feeling Orton was going to get drafted to SmackDown. They needed a big star on SmackDown, and Orton fit the bill. Even though I'm not a big Orton fan, I do see him going to SmackDown, and sure enough, he went to SmackDown. So you can rest assured he's going to win the heavyweight title sooner or later. Whoever comes out on top between Alberto Del Rio and Christian, Orton will probably get the next title shot after that. And then we're going to have another boring Orton title run. Yes. So next draft pick for Raw is The Big Show. Again, not a surprise here as well, because he always gets drafted Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. He's always getting bounced around here. Not the biggest fan of The Big Show, and he hasn't been doing much lately, but then again, him and Kane are tag champions, and as of now, Kane is still on SmackDown, so I don't see how that's going to work out unless Kane gets drafted to Raw too now. So that's that. Then we get Mark Henry and Sin Cara going to SmackDown. So Mark Henry, as we saw, made a heel turn, which is good for him, because I like Mark Henry as a heel. So let's see if they're going to do something with him. Sin Cara to SmackDown has to be, in the sense, I like SmackDown, but this is a bad move for Sin Cara, because you would think they put all this hype into Sin Cara to put him on the A show, the Raw show. But as we've seen, he was botching his entrance. He botched a few moves in his match with Primo. And then I heard during the European tour, he had other really bad matches as well too. So I'm thinking they're putting him on SmackDown, because they know SmackDown can take live. They can edit all his matches. They can make him look better to present to the WWE audience on television. So Sin Cara is going to SmackDown, and I hope he does well. I really want him to do really well. I hope he just fixes all the problems he's having right now. Maybe they're saying that it's like his nerves, or that he's just trying too hard to impress people, and he's like botching a lot. But I really hope he gets his act together, because Mystico is an amazing athlete. Someone I've been watching for years. He needs to be developed, and the WWE audience need to give him a chance. So that's pretty much the end for the live television cast for the draft. But then we got the supplemental draft going on today, and so far Raw has Jack Swagger, Kelly, JTG. SmackDown has Daniel Bryan, which is a good move because now he can get more TV time. Khali is going back to freaking SmackDown with Rajay Singh, Jimmy Uso. So I'm guessing that tag team now got broken up. Makes no sense there. And Alicia Fox going to SmackDown. So that's the supplemental draft going on right now. That's still going on as I speak. So then other happenings on Raw that took place. We got another Kong promo, and this time we got to see what her in-ring name is going to be, Charma. So that's pretty interesting there. You know, Charma. They had first I said Harm, and then the K and the A came out in the end. So that's pretty cool there. So that's going to be awesome. I heard Beth Phoenix is getting drafted to Raw as well. I mean, that might be her first feud with Beth Phoenix, which is going to be awesome. Beth Phoenix and Kong going at it. Hopefully Gail Kim still remains on Raw, and hopefully they put Natalya also on Raw still. But I'm looking forward to Kong. I'm looking forward to this. I just hope that she comes out and they let her do her thing. I mean, she may not be able to do her spinning back fist. She may not be able to do the implant buster. Who knows? They may tell her to hold back on a few moves because most of the girls won't be able to handle it. But I hope they give her a chance to shine. I mean, she really needs to shine, and hopefully she'll do good there. But yeah, Raw was okay. I mean, you know, Alberto Del Rio being drafted to Raw doesn't surprise me at all because I think this was already in the works. You know, anytime a SmackDown star becomes really, really big and popular in the WWE, they leave SmackDown and go to Raw. So regardless of what happens to Edge, I knew Alberto Del Rio was going to go to Raw. Now this puts a big plan in the World Heavyweight title picture because Alberto Del Rio wins the title, he's going to go to Raw. And how is that going to work out with The Miz still on Raw as well too? So it's looking like Christian might win the title, but then again, I don't think Vince is completely behind Christian. So I just see Alberto Del Rio winning the title still, and then him going to Raw, Miz being on Raw still. Morrison, as we know, is still on Raw. He might get drafted to the supplemental draft. And then you have Cena on Raw. So I don't know how they're going to do this. Then we got R-Truth. Now I wanted to talk about R-Truth because his heel turn happened last week and a lot of people was talking about it, and I really enjoyed his heel turn. I really enjoyed seeing him, you know, acting with the cigarette, the facial expressions. It was really funny. Now those of you who remember R-Truth as heel back in the early days of TNA, that was great. And I'm going to show like a link down there in the description box of him and Scott Hall and how he just really worked the crowd as a heel, and I want to see that R-Truth again. So it was good to see him cut a promo, you know, back out from the fans. Morrison came out, try to get some retribution. Hopefully they can continue their feud. And even though I want Morrison on SmackDown, you know, I want him to continue his feud with R-Truth on Raw. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But other than that, Raw was okay. I mean, we've seen better draft specials. Usually the draft special is like 3 hours, so I'm surprised it's just a 2-hour Raw here. But yeah, there's more to come later on. I'm looking forward to the more supplemental draft picks, see what they're going to do. But also, you know what that means. When the draft comes, that means budget cuts also follows. And, you know, a lot of people are going to get cut real soon. So keep an eye for that as well. So that's me. That's Good Word Blaze. Tell me your thoughts about the draft picks so far. Let me know what y'all are saying, what y'all are thinking about. Talk to y'all later. Peace.